Hello there, my name is Badrudin. I'm a software engineering student, and in this video, I'll be talking about why you can understand Somali but you can't speak. I'll be mentioning three main points in this video. Number one, the gap between understanding and speaking. Number two, why speaking feels harder than understanding or listening. And number three is how to overcome the speaking barrier. Without further ado, if you're new here, please leave a like and subscribe, and let's get into the video. Number one, we need to understand the gap between speaking and understanding. And to understand that, first we need to talk about the language input versus output. To understand a language in our topic, understanding Somali requires a passive skill, which is listening, which you don't really need to engage in nothing. Whereas speaking requires engagement, an active engagement that you need to participate in, which is the main difference between understanding and speaking. The majority of the people watching this video is probably, I'm assuming, are diasporas. They can 100% understand Somali, but they just find it hard to speak Somali, which in this video, it just breaks it down, the concept of why it is harder to speak than understand. Another key point would be limited speaking time or limited speaking practice. Even though you might be exposed to Somali environment, you don't have as much practice as needed for you to speak Somali. And a solution for that would be to actively engage in speaking Somali. And I will talk more about it in this video. Third point is listening is easier than speaking. That's common sense. Listening is easier than speaking, which causes the gap between understanding and speaking, which we tend to do a lot. A solution for that is when you're listening to Somali shows or when you're listening to Somali videos, try to have the subtitles on. It helps you engage actively with remembering the word and seeing the words. And the last point would be a fear of making mistakes. I'm probably sure everybody's watching this can relate to that. I can understand based on people are really close to me. They just have a fear of making mistakes. It's very normal to make mistakes when you're trying to speak a language that you're not familiar with or you haven't spoke that much of. So the solution for that is just stop worrying. It's very normal. Just try to see it as a normal thing to make mistakes when you're learning a new language. So don't worry about it. Now let's move on to the second main point of this video, why speaking feels harder than listening or understanding. If my microphone died, I'll get close. Hopefully you guys can hear me better. Number one reason why speaking feels harder than understanding is vocabulary retrieval difficulties. Your brain retrieves words when you're talking, whereas when you're listening, it recognizes words and just stores it. So your brain naturally does more work when you're speaking than when you're listening. The second reason is self-consciousness and language anxiety. There's a lot of people, especially the people that are close to me, that have this difficulty where they feel self-conscious when they speak. A solution for that, I would say, is find people that you are comfortable with, that you can just make mistakes with, which directly goes to my next one, why people find it hard for them to speak and understand, which is fear of criticism, especially in our Somali community, a fear of kind of being made fun of, which as Somali, it comes to us as second nature. So I would say a solution for that is don't take it to heart and make fun of yourself. I don't know if that makes sense. Make fun of making mistakes. So it kind of becomes more of a defensive mechanism. It will help you speak better while keeping everything lighthearted. As Somali, we joke about the worst things ever. Try not to take everything to heart. I know it might be harder than it seems, but that will be the solution for that. And number three, the final main point of this video will be how to overcome. Now that we realize the gap between speaking and understanding, and also why speaking feels harder than understanding, now we come to the most important part of the video, which is the third and the final important point of this video, is how to overcome the speaking barrier. The number way you can overcome the speaking barrier would be to practice. I know I've said that multiple times in this video and you're probably tired of it. Most excuses I hear is, what can I practice? I literally can't get the words out of my mouth. What do I practice with? I can't even speak. I can't even get one word out. How am I supposed to practice? And I can't even construct a sentence. It's like a muscle. You need to train it hard. The first day you go to the gym, it's probably going to be the hardest day. The same goes for when you're speaking. Your brain will literally find it impossible for you to retrieve words for the first time. But I would say, especially if you're having conversation with in Somali, you can recognize the words. Try to have those words and respond back to them using the same kind of words. I know it's harder than it seems. First, it will be hard. The same as you going to the gym the first day. It'll probably be the hardest day of your life. But I would say keep trying. Just say gibberish things if you have to. the more you get used to retrieving words, the better and more easier it will flow out. The second way you can overcome is to immerse yourself in a Somali environment. That could be having Somali only day where you can get to only speak Somali, only watch Somali content, only Somali days basically, nothing else. So you can make only Somali days with your friends and cousins where you can get to only speak Somali, listen to Somali. Well, the listening part is not very important because I feel like you're already past all of that. So make days where you can only get to speak Somali, whether that's with your cousins or friends or family members. The third way to overcome is to build confidence. Try to work on your confidence when you're speaking Somali. I try to have 5-minute daily practice of you speaking Somali. The more you speak Somali, the more it will make you more confident. The more confident you are, the more easy it will be, and the more dopamine that you get, it encourages you to do it more. So set yourself a goal. For example, speaking Somali for 5 minutes every day, and gradually increase the difficulty. Make it 10 minutes the next day, and so on and so on and so on. And the last point on how to overcome speaking Somali would be to be persistent and patient. I mention this point in every language speaking tutorial or tips and tricks and every type of thing that I do on teaching people or giving them tips or how to overcome something or how to learn a new skill, how to learn a new video editing. It could be whatever. How to learn linear algebra. As a software engineering student, I have a hard time with math. The only thing that's the same across the board is persistence and patience. And that applies to this too. Be persistent and be very patient, and eventually you will get there. Hopefully these tips help you out. If it did, let me know in the comment section down below and leave a like and subscribe. See you in the next video. Bye.